So, a few weeks ago, I was having a hard situation, and a friend told me, don't worry, God won't give you more than you can handle. And I remember I talked to you, Addie Joe, and you were like, that's not biblical. And I realized, you're right. Like, what God gave Paul, he died. And Peter and John and Stephen, they couldn't handle it. They died. And so maybe there's a different definition to handling it. But I continued to dwell on, like, what does that mean? And then I was on Tumblr, and I came across this quote that says, "Those whom God will use mightily, he wounds deeply." It was attributed to Matt Chandler, who's a pastor of a big church in Texas. But then I looked online and found the transcript of the sermon, and he says he's quoting Luther. But then when you Google the quote, some people think it's Oswald Chambers. And so it's a bunch of different random men, regardless of how credible they are. It's not scripture. And so I talked to my brother, who I know is a big supporter and advocate for Matt Chandler, which, not saying anything against him, just saying that quote's not scripture. And kind of questioning that. And Philip said, I kind of see it like training. Like, running isn't fun, but helps you run farther if that's the goal. Training to desire things of the world less and desire God more makes for less hurting. So what if we amended the statement to say, those whom God will use mightily will be obedient to him, which will cause them to sacrifice according to the world? Which I get, but still not quite. And then this morning I came across this on Pinterest. Your most effective ministry will come out of your deepest hurts. Not gospel. So how much of what we're believing, how much of the church today is because we're willing to believe these pretty little graphics on Pinterest and on Tumblr? How much of what we believe is because we're willing to take some quote that was meant to make a point as gospel truth? I've recently taken myself off of Instagram and Facebook through the election season, but then even further through Thanksgiving. And so I'm about a week and a half into it. And it is incredibly freeing to not be consumed with what everyone thinks. Because not everyone communicates truth. Not everyone has that truth, and not everyone is concerned with truth. And so I wonder if a lot of the problems that we're facing in our modern culture and our modern church is because we're so easily pleased and willing to just grab a little quotation that sounds good. How lost is the gospel on us when we are so easily pleased? I once had a high schooler tell me something, and I took a double take because it didn't sound right to me, and I said, how do you know that's true? She said, I read it on the internet. How much of our gospel has been lost because we read things on the internet? How shallow has our faith become because we're satisfied with pretty images and 7-second sound bites that we lose the truth that is out there?